Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So today I want to discuss something I've been thinking of. I've been thinking of making video games. Now, I've been developing games commercially for a while now. I've shipped a number of titles across mobile platforms, Nintendo 3DS, Wii U, and Switch. I've also shipped smaller titles, actually one huge one on the Game Boy Color, but I shipped smaller titles on Homebrew, just for free, for fun. But I've been thinking more about that. It's important if you engage in any sort of creative endeavor, you must strive to elevate your craft. I have spoken on that in a video previously, and I'll link to that in the description if you're hearing more about art and elevating your craft, finding your limits and pushing past them, and the importance of art, what it means to our culture, what it means to humanity. And I've been thinking about media in the 90s. It was a very, very long time ago. Mostly you hear old people talk about it. When I was a kid in the 90s growing up, people wouldn't shut up about the 60s. And now that we are 30 years on from the 90s, people won't shut up about the 90s. And that's just how it is. It's a cycle. In 30 years' time, you're going to hear about people who love the 20s for some messed up reason. They're going to like this decade, and they're going to keep talking about it nostalgically and fondly. They're going to look back and talk about all the wonderful brain rot that they enjoyed on the internet and how much they miss it. So I've been thinking about a way to make more. I always want to do more. I want to create more. As an artist, you should be prolific. You should strive to create as much as you can, because that allows you to, in essence, level up. You accrue skill points, and you can spend those skill points to level up your craft. And I want to create media in a similar way that the 90s created media, and that it was something, media was created for younger people, and that it was freely available to younger people, and that is in the form of TV shows and cartoons. And there wasn't this, what I find disgusting these days is this monetization of everything. Everything must lead to monetization. And the reason that is because all of these businesses, all of these companies are run now by CEOs, and shareholders are dominating the conversation to where everything should be about profit. How much more money can we make out of this? And in the 90s, that was not prevalent in the end result of the media. And so what we got was a flourishing of creativity. And obviously there are going to be shareholders and business people, but the people that were making media, the people that were in charge in the 90s were the hippies that grew up in the 60s. And there was a free-spiritedness and a drive towards love and passion and creativity. And unfortunately, that is basically dead these days. It's all gone. And the people that are running companies now and in charge of decisions are soulless. They are soulless. All they care about is money and profit. And they have no care about the end result. They have no care for social responsibility. And so what I've been thinking of is a way to reach more people with games. And so over the past year, I've been creating a game framework that will let me make action adventure RPGs. It's using the Unity game engine, but it is a framework. Now, the Unity is just an engine. It's just the bones, right? But the framework is really the meat on the bone. And the game that you see on the surface is really just the set dressing. It's the clothes and the jewelry and any fancy stuff. So you think of this in layers, right? And so I've been building a game framework for my upcoming games, my commercial games, that I can use my framework. It's all of the programming, basically. I've done all the programming, and I can use that to create games. And they don't all have to be exactly the same style. I can make some adjustments with the framework itself, but I will be able to make games significantly faster using this new framework. And it's not the only framework I've been working on. I've been working on a number, and this is all in the purpose of creating more. As an artist, I want to do more. I want to learn more. I want to be able to accomplish more. And with this game framework, I was thinking there's so much that I can do with this, and I want to do more than just make commercial games. And so going back to the topic I've been thinking of making games is I want to create games that are accessible to everyone, that have no monetization involved, that are just free. And I want to honor the philosophy of the 90s, which I refer to as basically the neo-hip era, because that's what it was. Hippies from the 60s grew up. They took charge of the way that media was created and served out to people, and they were in charge in the 90s. And it's time for people from the 90s to honor that philosophy, that sense of passion, creativity, and love for just creating something to offer a good experience to other people, to elevate mankind, to inspire, to encourage people to think more, to learn more, to explore creative freedom and creative expression. And so I want to use my game framework to create free games. There's going to be no monetization involved. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not asking you to give me anything, to help me with anything. I just want to create cool, interesting stories. And so I'll be using my game framework, and it will be an action adventure framework. And with the free stuff, they're going to be smaller games, right? They're not going to be massive, huge 30-hour-long adventures, but they're going to be stories that I think are interesting, that I come up with. And I'm a big fan of horror. I was spoiled, of course, growing up in the 90s. I was spoiled for choice because we grew up and we had things like Goosebumps during the day and then Are You Afraid of the Dark at night. And they really carry the spirit of the Outer Limits and the Twilight Zone. And because they were meant for kids, anyone could watch it. Kids of all ages could enjoy it. And it's stuff that wasn't Teletubbies, it was stuff that had depth to it, emotional and intellectual complexity, and it was interesting. And Are You Afraid of the Dark? Some of it is it's pretty scary stuff, and it's fun. It's fun to watch that. And so I want to create stories that I can just put out there and people can enjoy it for free. There's going to be no monetization involved because I want to honor the philosophy that the hippies passed down to us. I know it sounds funny, the neo-hippies, but basically the 90s is the neo-hippie era. I suppose I would consider myself a neo-hippie then at that point, because I was raised by hippies. The world that I grew up in was one that was created, and it was a ship led by hippies. And so I want to create cool, scary stories, and I've been thinking of this for a while now. But now that I have this framework completed, pretty regularly, in the way that Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark were episodic. I'm sorry, I should have done this earlier in the video. Let's go ahead and make this a little more interesting. Okay, and can we get some music? All right, that sounds better. So I want to create regular games that are scary. I want cool, scary stories, but this time I'm going to focus on making them appropriate so that kids of all ages can play it, but they will be interesting even if you're not a kid. Maybe you're just a kid at heart. And I want to follow that philosophy that people from the 60s passed down to us, the kids of the 90s. And I want to just create cool, interesting stories that are creepy. But instead of making a TV show, I will be making a series that's video games. So it won't be every week. That would be an immense undertaking, and I don't have time for that. I need to focus on my commercial games. But with the smaller stuff, it's stuff that I can work on in my free time, and they'll be short. I'm going to consider these episodes in the way that we could watch an episode of Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark within half an hour. Maybe you could play through these games within half an hour to 1 hour, and I would just tell an interesting story. Maybe there'd be a bit of gameplay, but I just want to create cool stories and be able to share them regularly. And because they're free, anyone can just sit down, they can enjoy them, and it's something that they could look forward to, every other week, every few weeks. And it's something that I can work on in my free time, and I can explore some creative ideas. And I can do that on the side while I'm doing my commercial games. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. So I don't think I'll have time to create a Halloween homebrew for the DS. I put a poll up the other day. People voted for the Nintendo DS. And I don't want to use the word desperate, because that's kind of a sign of weakness. So I won't say that I'm desperate to make a game for the Nintendo DS, but I want to say that I've been looking for an excuse and a reason, because I'm a huge, huge fan of the Nintendo DS, and I really want to make games for this thing. I mean, this console rocks. It's just cool. It's an awesome console. I have a development environment set up. I really want to make games for the DS. I don't have time, so I apologize for that for this Halloween season. I really like making Halloween homebrew, but I do have time. I will, today I'm starting work on it. I'm going to make a Halloween homebrew game for the PS Vita. It's significantly faster for me to make PS Vita games because I can use a very old version of Unity. I develop my commercial games using Unity, so making a free homebrew game for the Vita is very easy, and it's fast. So I'm going to start working on that using my framework, and I'm going to follow through on my endeavor here. Is I want to just create a short, cool, interesting, scary story that you'll be able to play for free. So I'll put it on the Vita. If you have an Android with controllers, with hardware controls, then I will make that available to you as well. I do not have time to implement touchscreen controls because that takes some effort and time to retool. And again, these are not monetized. I will not be making money from these. So please understand there's a real limit to how much time I can spend on these. I don't have external funding. This is something that I'm doing purely out of passion, out of a love for art and creativity, and for the desire to share interesting stories with people and to inspire. So if you have a device like these, for example, this is the Powkiddy X28, which I think is really cool. I think this screen is 5.5 inches, 16 by 9. Very cool console. This one can actually do PS2 and GameCube. Sick. This thing is sick. I really like how low profile the analog sticks are. These are the same analog sticks as the Switch. The controls feel good. Powkiddy X28, reasonably strong. It's a few years old now at this point. This one is the Magic X 040. This one's so cool. I'm sorry, I had to cheat. I had to look at the back for the model number because I don't remember it off the top of my head. I think the lights are blowing out the buttons on this. This thing is very cool. It has a vertical screen, which is what I really like. I'm making a version of my game framework that takes into account that vertical screen. So the horror game that I launched for Halloween Homebrew, I will make it available on Android devices. If you have a normal Android, you can just use the Bluetooth controller or get one of those controllers that attaches to your Android. And I'll have a version for this here, the Magic X 040, and we'll see that. Now I shouldn't be making homebrew for the Nintendo 3DS because I am an official developer for Nintendo and I developed officially for the 3DS, but let's see how good our goodwill is with Big N. I'm gonna see if I can get some Halloween horror homebrew running on that as well. So let's just keep that between us. And again, no monetization at all. You will not be able to pay for these. I just want to share something interesting and creative with people. I just want to create cool stories. I want to inspire. I want to show people what's possible creatively and just come up with some cool, interesting stories. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope you're well. I hope this you're looking forward to the Halloween season. I'm going to be watching my favorite old movies. I think I might watch Lights Out. I really like that one. Of course, I'll be watching The Thing. You know I'm going to be watching The Thing. Halloween, that goes without saying. Alien, of course, but that's like 4. So I'm going to have an early start on Halloween to get through a bunch of movies. Or I'll just start, a couple days in advance and watch my favorite Halloween movies. So take care of yourselves. Be well. Please look forward to the Halloween homebrew. Again, I apologize for people that wanted homebrew on the DS and other older consoles. I just don't have time right now because I have to focus on my commercial games. I absolutely will do homebrew for the DS after I finish and get Goo Buddies ready for launch. I will work on DS homebrew, and again, that stuff is free. It's very time consuming. I don't earn money. I don't ask money for the homebrew stuff. Thanks very much. Take care of yourselves. Be well.